I thought I was planting seeds for a simple life. Turns out, I was just fertilizing someone else's dream. When you're 48 and tired of everything you built back home, you start believing that dirt and sunlight can fix what money and success couldn't. I was wrong about the dirt. I was wrong about the sunlight. And I was definitely wrong about her. If our stories resonate with you, don't forget to like, comment, and tell us where you're watching from. I'm standing in my backyard in Salt Lake City, staring at dead grass and thinking about how everything I built feels like a lie. The corporate consulting firm, the mortgage, the neighbors who wave but don't really see me. At 48, I'm successful on paper, but empty inside. I've always found peace in growing things, but Utah's climate fights me every step of the way. My divorce finalized 6 months ago, and Sarah took half of everything except the loneliness. That's when I start researching places where things actually grow year-round, where the sun doesn't punish you for trying to live. Thailand keeps coming up in my searches. Cheap land, tropical climate, endless growing seasons. I spend weeks watching YouTube videos of expats living simple lives, growing their own food, finding peace. The idea starts small, like a seed, but it grows fast. Within 2 months, I'm selling everything, liquidating the business, converting everything to cash. My family thinks I'm having a breakdown, but this feels like the first clear decision I've made in years. I'm not running away from my life. I'm finally running towards something real. The paperwork takes forever, but I'm patient. Gardening taught me that good things take time. And maybe that's what I need most right now. Time to figure out who I am when nobody's watching. When success doesn't matter. When the only thing that counts is whether something grows or dies under my care. Bangkok hits me like a wall of heat and possibility. The airport smells like jasmine and diesel fuel, and even that feels more alive than anything back home. I've rented a small apartment in the city for my first month while I look for land. The plan is simple. Find a few acres outside the city, build a small house, grow everything I need, live simply. I spend my days riding motorbike taxis to property listings, sweating through my Western clothes, learning that close to city means very different things here. Most of the land I see is either too expensive or too remote, but I'm patient. Gardening taught me that good things take time. That's when I meet Kamon at a coffee shop near my apartment. She's 24, beautiful in that effortless way Thai women have, working on a laptop with intense focus. Our eyes meet when I'm struggling to order in broken Thai, and she laughs, not at me, but like she finds my confusion charming. "You want iced coffee?" "Yes," she says in perfect English, and I nod gratefully. The barista doesn't speak much English. "Let me help." She translates my order, then asks if I mind if she sits with me. We end up talking for 3 hours about life in Thailand, about growing things, about dreams. She tells me she works online, something vague about social media marketing. When I mention my plans for a garden, her whole face lights up. "I always dream of having my own garden," she says. "Growing my own food, living naturally. It sounds so peaceful." It feels like fate. By the end of the week, she's helping me look at properties, translating with sellers, becoming my guide to this new world. "This one has good soil," she tells me at our third viewing. "You can feel it in your hands. And look, there's already mango trees." She seems to understand what I'm looking for before I do. 3 weeks into our friendship, Kamon and I find the perfect piece of land. 2 acres outside Chiang Mai, fertile soil, existing fruit trees, a small stream running through it. The price is fair, and the seller likes that a foreigner wants to farm rather than develop. Kamon translates everything, handles the negotiations, makes everything smooth. He says the land has been in his family for 50 years, she explains. He's happy someone will grow food here again. I'm impressed by her business sense, her understanding of local customs. When we're walking the property lines, she gets excited about where we could plant vegetables, where the chickens could roam, how we could build a greenhouse for year-round growing. She keeps saying, "we," and our garden, and it feels natural. I've been lonely for so long that having someone share the dream makes it feel more real. The paperwork takes weeks, but Come On knows people who know people, and suddenly everything moves faster. My cousin works at the land office, she explains. He can help make sure everything is done correctly. She connects me with builders, electricians, well, diggers. I'm paying for everything, but she's making it happen. We spend our evenings planning, sketching garden layouts, talking about the simple life we're going to build together. Here we can plant the tomatoes, she says, pointing to our rough sketch. And over here, maybe herbs for cooking. You know which herbs grow best in this climate. I don't, but she does. She moves into my Bangkok apartment temporarily while we wait for the land deal to close, and it feels like we're already a team. I notice she's always on her laptop late at night, working her online marketing job, but I don't think much of it. Everyone has to make money somehow. The important thing is that we share the same vision, a quiet life, growing our own food, away from the complications of modern life. When the land deal finally closes, we celebrate with cheap champagne in my tiny apartment, making lists of what to plant first. First, the leafy greens, she says. They grow fast. Then we can plan the long-term crops. Construction starts immediately. I've budgeted $30,000 for a simple house and basic infrastructure, money I saved from selling everything in Utah. Come On manages the workers while I focus on preparing the soil. The language barrier would be impossible without her, and she seems to know every contractor in the province. These men are good workers, she tells me about the building crew. Fair price. Quality work. I know their families. The workers respect her, take her directions seriously. I'm impressed by how she handles business negotiations, how she gets better prices than I ever could. In Thailand, relationships matter more than money, she explains when I ask how she knows so many people. You build trust first. Then you build houses. While the house foundation is being poured, I start my first garden beds. The soil here is incredible, rich, dark, alive in ways Utah clay never was. Everything I plant grows aggressively. Tomatoes, peppers, herbs, leafy greens. Within a month, I have more vegetables than Come On and I can eat. I've never felt more useful, more connected to something real. Come On documents everything on her phone, taking pictures of me working, of the plants growing, of the house taking shape. I'm creating content for my marketing clients, she explains, showing them authentic lifestyle content, very popular now. I don't really understand social media, but I'm happy to help her work. The house comes together faster than I expected. Nothing fancy, 2 bedrooms, open kitchen and living area, covered porch overlooking the garden. Solar panels for electricity, rainwater collection system, composting toilet. Everything designed for simplicity and sustainability. Come On has input on every decision, and her suggestions always make sense. Kitchen should be bigger, she says, for preserving vegetables, making traditional dishes, and maybe extra storage for garden tools. The costs keep creeping up, but she convinces me that quality is worth the investment. We're building something permanent, she says, touching my arm gently. Something that will last. By month 4, we're living in our own house, surrounded by thriving gardens, feeling like we've escaped the modern world. Come On cooks elaborate meals with vegetables I grew myself. This tastes different when you grow it yourself, she says, serving me stir-fried greens I planted from seed. More alive, you know. We eat dinner on the porch, watching sunset paint the mountains. This is what happiness feels like, I tell myself. This is what I've been searching for my whole life. 6 months in, I notice Come On spends more time on her laptop than in the garden. She's always in video calls late at night, speaking rapid Thai I can't follow. Just client meetings, she explains when I ask. Different time zones, you know. America. Europe. Marketing never sleeps. When I ask about her marketing work, she's vague. Different clients, changing projects, complex campaigns, I wouldn't understand. The house is finished. The garden is producing more food than we can consume. But something feels different. She's less interested in preserving vegetables, less excited about planting new crops. Maybe we should hire someone to help with garden work, she suggests. You're doing so much by yourself. When I suggest expanding the chicken coop or building a greenhouse, she changes the subject to house improvements. What about upgrading the kitchen appliances? She asks. Installing air conditioning, building a proper office space for my business? Each suggestion costs money, but she frames everything as improving our life together. These investments will pay for themselves, she assures me. Better equipment means better work, means more income. I start noticing other things: designer clothes arriving by delivery, expensive makeup, jewelry, perfume. When I ask about it, she says her online work is doing well, she's earning good money, she deserves nice things. My business is growing, she explains. I need to look professional for video meetings. But the timing feels wrong. She never seemed materialistic during our first months together. The bills for house upgrades keep coming, and she handles all the local vendor relationships, so I don't see itemized costs. She just tells me totals and assures me everything is necessary. You don't understand Thai business culture, she says when I question an expensive internet upgrade. These things are required for professional work. I'm still happy with our life, but the simplicity I came here for feels more complicated every week. The garden thrives, but come on rarely works in it anymore. The sun is too hot, she says. The work too dirty. I need to focus on my business. I do the physical labor while she manages what she calls operations. One evening, I catch a glimpse of her laptop screen. It's not marketing software or business applications. It looks like some kind of chat interface with multiple video windows. When she notices me looking, she closes it quickly. Client, video conference, she says. Very private business discussion. Something doesn't add up. But I don't know what questions to ask. We're living my dream life, but increasingly it feels like I'm living it alone. Everything changes the night I can't sleep and decide to check on the garden. It's 2 a.m., and there's light coming from Kamon's office window. I walk quietly toward the house and hear her voice, not the soft, caring tone she uses with me, but something playful, flirtatious, performative. Oh, you like that? I hear her saying in English. What would you like to see next? I creep closer to the window and see her laptop screen. She's on a video call, but she's wearing lingerie I've never seen before, speaking English in a sultry voice I don't recognize. There are usernames and payment notifications flashing on the screen, chat messages rolling by too fast to read, but I catch fragments. Show me more. Private show. Send tip. My stomach drops. This isn't marketing work. This is webcam work, adult entertainment, whatever you want to call it. I stand there for 10 minutes, watching the woman I thought I knew perform for strangers on the internet. She's good at it, confident, engaging, making each viewer feel special and seen. You're so handsome, she coos to someone I can't see. Tell me what you're thinking about. It's clearly not her first night doing this. Maybe not even her first year. She moves naturally in front of the camera, knows how to angle the lighting, responds to messages with practiced ease. Maybe we can go private, she suggests to someone named Big Spender. I have some special things to show you. I walk back to the garden in a daze, sitting among the tomato plants I've been nurturing while she's been nurturing something completely different. Part of me wants to storm into the office and confront her immediately, but I need time to process this. How long has this been going on? Was she doing this when we met in Bangkok? Is this why she wanted the expensive camera equipment, the better internet connection, the soundproof office space? I spend the rest of the night in the garden, trying to reconcile the woman who helped me build this life with the performer I just witnessed. By morning, I've decided to pretend I didn't see anything yet. I need to understand the full scope of what's happening before I make any decisions. When she joins me for breakfast, she's back to being the come on I know, asking about the vegetable harvest, discussing plans for the day, affectionate and present. "You look tired," she says, touching my forehead. "Did you sleep okay?" But now I notice things I missed before. How she never starts working until I'm busy outside. How she locks her office door. How she always knows exactly what bills we need to pay and when. I realize I've been subsidizing her camming operation without knowing it, paying for the internet, the electricity, the privacy, the lifestyle that makes her attractive to online clients. The garden around us is thriving, but our relationship suddenly feels like it's growing on rotten soil. For 2 weeks, I live with this secret knowledge while trying to figure out what to do. I start paying attention to patterns I ignored before. Kamon works every night from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., Thailand time, which is perfect for attracting American and European clients. She sleeps until noon, then spends her afternoons shopping, getting beauty treatments, or managing what she calls business administration. "I have to maintain professional appearance," she explains when I see her receipts for salon visits. Image is everything in marketing. I realize I've never actually seen her do any marketing work, never met any of her supposed clients, never seen contracts or traditional business correspondence. The expensive clothes, makeup, and jewelry aren't rewards for success, they're tools of the trade. The soundproof office I paid to build isn't for video conferences, it's for private shows. The high-speed internet upgrade, the professional lighting, the backup power system, all of it makes sense now. "Why do you need 3 different cameras?" I asked when the equipment arrived. "Different angles for different clients," she explained. "Professional presentation requires professional equipment." I've been an unknowing business partner in her camming operation. What makes it worse is that she's good at maintaining the illusion during the day. She still cooks meals with garden vegetables, still talks about our future together, still shows interest in the property improvements. "Maybe next season we plant more fruit trees," she says over dinner. "Durian could be very profitable." But I notice how she steers conversations away from money specifics, how she handles all communication with local vendors, how she always knows exactly what we need to buy and when. I'm funding her business while believing we're building a life together. The hardest part is that I still care about her. Whatever her business is, the connection between us during daylight hours feels real. She remembers details about my past, asks thoughtful questions about my dreams, shares what seem like genuine moments of affection and intimacy. "You seem sad lately," she says one morning. "Is something worrying you?" Either she's an exceptional actress, or there are parts of our relationship that exist independently of her night work. But knowing what I know, every conversation feels layered with deception. When she talks about our future, I wonder if she means it, or if I'm just the guy who makes her camming lifestyle possible. The garden keeps growing, producing more food than we can eat, but I've lost my appetite for most of it. I finally decide to confront her on a Tuesday night. I wait until I hear her starting her usual routine, the shower, the makeup, the wardrobe selection, then I knock on her office door. She opens it wearing a silk robe, looking surprised and slightly annoyed. "I'm about to start working," she says, but I push past her into the room. The setup is more elaborate than I expected. Professional lighting equipment, multiple cameras, costumes hanging on a rack, a display showing her earnings dashboard. Numbers I don't want to look at too closely, but high enough to make it clear this isn't amateur hour. She's been doing this for a while, and she's been successful at it. "We need to talk," I say, and she knows immediately that I know. Her whole demeanor shifts. The apologetic, caught-off-guard expression I expected doesn't come. Instead, she looks relieved. "How long have you known?" she asks, sitting down in front of her computer setup like this is a business meeting. 2 weeks. "But I want to know how long you've been doing this. Since before we met." She nods without hesitation. "Since I was 20. It pays well. I'm good at it." and I don't have to answer to anyone. Until now. The honesty is jarring. No shame, no elaborate justification, no tears or apologies. Just facts. So, everything we built here, the house, the garden, the life, it's all been funded by your work? She shrugs. Your money, my management. We both contributed what we had. The casual way she says, it makes my chest tight. I ask the question I've been dreading. Do you actually care about me? Or am I just convenient? For the first time, she looks uncomfortable. She turns off her computer monitors, giving me her full attention. It started convenient, she admits. Foreign guy with money, looking for a simple life, needs local help. Easy situation. The words hit like physical blows, but she continues. But living here, building this place, seeing how happy you are growing things, it became more than that. She pauses, choosing her words carefully. I do care about you, but I also can't pretend I want to spend my life farming vegetables and raising chickens. That's your dream, not mine. The brutal honesty cuts deeper than any lie would have. At least lies leave room for hope that truth might be different. So, what now? I ask. She looks at her computer, then back at me. Now you decide if you can live with who I really am, or if you need me to be someone I'm not. I spend 3 days walking through the garden, trying to make sense of everything. The plants don't care about human complications. They just keep growing, producing, thriving, in the soil I've prepared for them. I wish I could be that simple, that focused on basic needs. Kamon doesn't hide her work anymore. She goes to her office at the usual time, and I can hear her laughing and talking through the thin walls. Hi, baby. How was your day? I hear her greeting someone. Show me what you've been thinking about. The sound makes my stomach twist, but I don't stop her. We haven't talked about the future since our confrontation, but we're both waiting for me to make a decision. During the day, our interactions are polite but strained. She still cooks meals, but we eat in silence. She still asks about the garden, but the conversations feel hollow. The tomatoes are doing well, I say. Yes, she responds. Very good. The elephant in the room is that I've been unknowingly funding her cam business, and she's been unknowingly living my retirement dream. Neither of us got what we actually wanted, but we both got something. The practical part of my brain tries to rationalize the situation. She wasn't stealing from me. She was managing our shared expenses while earning her own money. She never lied about loving the simple life. She just never said it was the only life she wanted. The sex work, while shocking to discover, doesn't change the fact that she helped me build something beautiful here. But my heart can't rationalize away the feeling of deception. Every conversation we had about our future feels different now. When she talked about expanding the garden, was she thinking about her online brand? When she suggested house improvements, was she thinking about her camming setup? The hardest part is that I can see her point of view. She's 24, attractive, smart, and earning good money in a career that gives her flexibility and independence. Why would she give that up to spend her life growing vegetables with a middle-aged American man? The age gap I rarely thought about suddenly feels massive. I came here looking for simplicity, but I found the most complicated relationship of my life. I can try to accept her work and build something together anyway, knowing that my retirement is subsidizing her cam business. I can ask her to choose between me and her career, knowing that's probably not fair. Or I can accept that we want different things and find a way to separate our lives. The garden keeps producing, but I don't know what to harvest anymore. On Thursday morning, Kamon comes to me with a proposal. She's printed out financial documents, spreadsheets, charts. Treating this like the business discussion it apparently always was. I want to be honest about everything, she says, spreading papers across the kitchen table we built together. My earnings, my expenses, my goals. If we're going to make this work, You need to see the real numbers. Her cam business brings in between $3,000 and $5,000 per month, depending on her schedule and client base. She's been doing it for 4 years, has a dedicated following, professional equipment, and clear growth potential. The house we built, with its private office and high-speed internet, has allowed her to increase her earnings by 30%. I can do this anywhere, she explains, pointing to a graph showing her income progression. But doing it here, with you managing everything else, lets me focus on what I'm good at. She shows me her 5-year plan. Save enough to buy property in Bangkok. Open a legitimate business, maybe a restaurant or boutique. Transition away from cam work by the time she's 30. The numbers are realistic. The timeline makes sense, and she's clearly put serious thought into this. Where do I fit in? I ask, studying her projections. You could be my business partner, she says. Officially, we split property expenses. You handle the farming and property management. I handle my online work and local business development. In 5 years, we either expand together or we separate as friends. It's so transactional, so removed from the romantic partnership I thought we had. But it's also honest in a way our previous relationship never was. No more pretending about shared dreams or compatibility. Just 2 people with different goals who can help each other achieve them. What about us? The relationship part? She considers this carefully, tapping her pen against the financial projections. I care about you. I enjoy our time together. But I can't promise you the simple farm wife life you probably imagined. This is who I am. She gestures toward her office, toward the computer setup that's made her financially independent. I'm good at this work. It gives me freedom, security, choices. I won't apologize for that. Part of me is insulted by the business proposal. I came here for love, for partnership, for shared dreams. But another part of me is impressed by her clarity and planning. She's treating me like an equal, offering a real partnership instead of the fantasy I'd been living. The question is whether I can separate my emotional needs from my practical circumstances. Can I live with someone I care about, knowing our relationship is partly transactional? Can I accept that the woman I love does sex work, and that my money indirectly supports that work? I agree to try her proposal for 6 months. No promises beyond that, but a genuine attempt to see if we can make it work as business partners who care about each other. 6 months, I tell her. Then we evaluate honestly. She nods, extending her hand to shake on it like we're forming a corporation. 6 months. Full transparency, clear expectations, regular check-ins. The new arrangement requires adjustments I didn't anticipate. I stop thinking of her income as mysterious online marketing work and start seeing it as adult entertainment, a legitimate business with its own challenges and requirements. She shows me how the platforms work, explains her client management strategies, discusses her professional goals without shame or apology. This guy, big spender. He's been a client for 2 years, she explains, showing me her earnings dashboard. Very reliable, respectful boundaries, tips well, good steady income. It's jarring at first, but I start to respect her business sense. She's built a sustainable income in a competitive industry, maintains professional boundaries with clients, and has clear plans for growth and transition. I never do private meetings, she tells me. Never share personal information. Never accept gifts or requests outside the platform. It's work, not personal. The hardest part is hearing her work at night. Not the content, the office is soundproof enough for that, but knowing what's happening behind that door. I develop coping strategies, working late in the garden, using noise-canceling headphones, focusing on my own projects. Gradually, it becomes background noise, like any other job happening in our house. During the day, our relationship improves. Without the weight of unspoken secrets, we communicate more directly. I need better lighting for the office, she tells me. Should cost about $200. Does that work with our budget? She asks for my input on business decisions that affect our shared space. I consult her on garden expansions and property improvements. What do you think about adding solar panels to the workshop? I ask. Will that interfere with your internet connection? We're not romantic partners anymore, but we're effective collaborators. The garden thrives under this new arrangement. With clear expectations and no hidden resentments, I put more energy into growing food, expanding cultivation areas, and improving our self-sufficiency. Kamon contributes by managing local vendor relationships, handling bureaucratic requirements, and maintaining our social connections in the community. The neighbor wants to buy some of your vegetables, she tells me. His wife says they're the best tomatoes she's ever tasted. We're building something sustainable, even if it's not what I originally imagined. 3 months into the trial period, I realize I'm happier than I was during our romantic relationship. The constant uncertainty about her feelings and our future has been replaced by clear agreements and mutual respect. We're not in love the way I thought we were, but we care about each other in ways that might be more durable than romance. Month 5 of our business partnership brings unexpected challenges. Kamon's cam business has grown enough that she's considering expanding, hiring other performers, developing premium content, building a larger operation. The success is good for her long-term goals, but it requires more space, more equipment, and more of her attention. I have 3 girls interested in working with me, she explains over breakfast. They're struggling with the technical side, client management, staying safe. I could help them. Take a percentage. Build something bigger. She approaches me about converting part of the house into a proper studio space. Not just for her, but potentially for other women who want to get into the business safely and professionally. We could build 2 additional studios in the back area, she says, showing me sketches. Soundproof, private, professional setup. It would mean higher income for both of us, but it would also mean our quiet property becomes a small business operation with employees, equipment, and constant activity. I spend a week considering the proposal. From a financial perspective, it makes sense. Her projections show we could triple our income within a year, pay off all property expenses, and have enough capital for her Bangkok transition and my long-term security. From a lifestyle perspective, it's the opposite of why I came to Thailand. I wanted simplicity, solitude, connection to the land. Adding more people, more business complications, more noise would destroy the peace I found here. When I tell Kamon my decision, she nods like she expected it. I understand, she says. You came here to get away from business complexity. I came here to build business success. Maybe it's time to admit we're heading in different directions. The conversation that follows is surprisingly mature and caring. We've both gotten what we needed from this arrangement. I've learned to live independently in a foreign country, developed confidence in my ability to grow food and manage property. She's stabilized her business, saved significant money, and positioned herself for the next phase of her career. Neither of us regrets the time together, but we can see that extending it indefinitely would limit both of our growth. You taught me about patience, she tells me, about planning for the future, about building something that lasts. I never learned that before. We agree that she'll move to Bangkok within 2 months, keeping a stake in our current property as a retreat location and potential future business site. I'll buy out her interest in the house and land, maintaining this as my permanent home base while she pursues her expansion plans. This place will always be special to me, she says, looking out at the garden. It's where I learned I could build something real. The transition feels natural rather than painful. We're not breaking up in anger or disappointment. We're graduating from a successful partnership into independent futures. I realize this is what healthy relationships can look like. People supporting each other's growth, even when it means growing apart. During our final weeks together, I appreciate qualities in Kamon I missed before. Her courage to pursue unconventional work, her business intelligence, her honesty about her goals and limitations. She appreciates my dedication to sustainable living, my patience with her learning process, and my willingness to adapt when our relationship needed to change. Kamon moves to Bangkok on a Tuesday in March, during the hottest part of dry season. We spend her last morning harvesting vegetables together, filling boxes with produce for her to take to her new apartment. The garden has never looked better. 8 months of constant attention have created something that feels permanent and abundant. "Look how big these tomatoes are," she says, holding up fruit the size of softballs. "You have magic hands for growing things." She takes photos of me among the plants, not for social media content this time, but for personal memories. "I want to remember this," she explains. "You in your element, surrounded by life you created." The goodbye is simpler than I expected. No tears, no dramatic declarations, no promises to stay in touch constantly. We hug like friends who know they'll see each other again, even if they're not sure when. "Take care of yourself," she says. "Keep growing beautiful things." She leaves me with contact information for all the local vendors, instructions for maintaining the systems she set up, and a bank account with her share of recent earnings. Money to use for property improvements or emergencies. "You paid for everything in the beginning," she says when I try to refuse the money. "This is just balancing the books." The first week alone feels strange but not lonely. I wake up when I want, eat meals when I'm hungry, work in the garden without considering anyone else's schedule. The silence at night takes adjustment. No clicking keyboards, no muffled voices, no background hum of business activity. But I sleep better than I have in months. I start projects I'd postponed during our partnership, building a greenhouse, expanding the chicken coop, planting fruit trees that will take years to mature. I'm planning for a future that's entirely my own, and it feels liberating. Within a month, I establish new routines. Morning coffee on the porch watching sunrise over the garden. Full days working with plants and soil, building and maintaining systems, learning new agricultural techniques. Evenings reading or listening to music. Simple meals made entirely from food I grew myself. Neighbors begin stopping by more often. Without the complication of explaining my relationship with a much younger Thai woman, local interactions become easier and more genuine. "You grow very good vegetables," my neighbor Somchai tells me in broken English. "My wife wants to know your secret." I join community activities, help other expat farmers with their projects, share knowledge about sustainable growing techniques. The life I originally imagined, simple, connected to the land, integrated into local community, finally emerges. It took losing the relationship to find the life, but maybe that was always the real path forward. 6 months after Kamon leaves, I understand something I couldn't see while we were together. We were both growing, just in different directions. She needed stability and resources to build her business into something sustainable and profitable. I needed space and time to build a life that felt authentic and meaningful. Our relationship served both purposes, even though it couldn't serve them permanently. I get updates on her progress through occasional messages. "Studio is coming together beautifully," she texts with photos of a professional setup in downtown Bangkok. "Thank you for teaching me about planning and patience." Her business expansion is successful. She's managing 3 other performers now, developing premium content and saving aggressively toward her 5-year plan. She sounds happy and confident in a way that confirms she made the right choice. My life has settled into rhythms that feel sustainable and satisfying. The garden produces enough food year-round that I rarely buy vegetables. The chickens provide eggs and occasional meat. Solar panels and rainwater collection make me largely independent of municipal utilities. My monthly expenses are low enough that the income from my remaining investments covers everything comfortably. This was always my goal. Living simply, sustainably, independently. But I had to learn it couldn't be shared with someone whose goals were different. Sometimes I wonder if I should feel bitter about the deception, the months of funding her cam business unknowingly, the gap between what I thought we were building and what was actually happening. But sitting here now, surrounded by thriving plants and peaceful mornings, I can't summon anger or regret. She helped me build this life, even if she did it for her own reasons. I helped her stabilize and grow her business, even if I did it unknowingly. We both got what we needed, even if we didn't get what we originally wanted. The greatest gift she gave me wasn't romance or partnership. It was showing me I could adapt to situations more complex than I imagined, that I could live with uncertainty, adjust my expectations, and still find happiness. That relationships don't have to be perfect or permanent to be valuable. Now, when people ask about my life in Thailand, I tell them it's complicated but good, that I came here looking for simplicity and found something better, resilience, that I learned the difference between the life you plan and the life you actually need. The garden keeps growing, season after season, and so do I. Some people see a garden and think about growth, seasons, patience. Others see it and think about what they can harvest. I learned we were both right, in our own ways. The difference was in what we chose to plant.